Did your high school sweetheart work out after graduation? Dating was never a top priority in high school. I was the planner, class president, straight A student, the girl who always had a color-coded calendar taped to her bedroom wall. My life was a checklist, and there wasn't a box for falling in love with the boy who played guitar in the back of math class. Tony was the dreamer. He was always tapping out melodies on the edge of his desk, scribbling song lyrics on the corners of his homework. He smiled like life was some big inside joke and was the only one who got it. We weren't in the same crowd. I was the one who stayed late for student council meetings. He was the one sneaking out early to catch a local band downtown. It started small. He asked to borrow my notes one day after class. His handwriting was a disaster, and he cracked some joke about my neat little bullet points being a work of art. I rolled my eyes, but I smiled too. After that, it was little things. Sitting next to me in study hall, sending me stupid memes during history lectures, walking me to my car when it rained, acting like it was no big deal even though he got soaked. One night after a football game, a bunch of us went out for milkshakes. Somehow we ended up crammed in the same booth, knees bumping under the table, both pretending not to notice. He stole fries off my plate. I called him a thief. He grinned and said, "Guess you'll just have to get used to me." Somewhere between laughing at his terrible jokes and listening to him talk about all the places he wanted to see, I realized I didn't want to imagine my life without him in it. We started dating sophomore year, and by senior year, everyone just sort of knew we were together. It was late night drives with the windows down, him singing loudly and badly, and me pretending to hate it. It was whispered conversations about the future, half serious, half terrified. But under it all, I always had this knot in my chest. I had plans, big ones, a university 3 hours away, pre-law, internships, and networking events. Tony wanted to travel the country with nothing but a guitar and a duffel bag. We didn't talk about it, pretended we had all the time in the world. The night before I left for college, we returned to the lake where we had our first real date. His old truck creaked when he killed the engine. The air smelled like rain and pine, and everything felt too still. We sat there for a while, the silence heavy between us. Then Tony turned to me, his voice barely above a whisper. "You're meant for big things," he said. "Bigger than this town, bigger than me." My heart cracked clean down the middle. I didn't want him to say it. I didn't want him to let me go. He stared straight ahead, hands tight on the steering wheel. "I don't want to be the thing that holds you back." I thought that was it. I thought he was ending it, giving me permission to leave him behind. I felt like I couldn't breathe, like the future I worked so hard for had suddenly become something I didn't want anymore. Then he laughed, this rough, broken sound. "But the thing is," he said, turning to look at me, "I don't care about any of that anymore. You're the only thing that's ever made me feel like I belong somewhere." I blinked, not sure I heard him right. "You're it for me. I didn't even know what love felt like before you." I couldn't even speak. I just leaned into him, and he wrapped his arms around me like he was afraid I might slip away. A few weeks later, I got a call when I was drowning in homework and homesickness. Tony. He told me he got a job in the next town over, said it wasn't glamorous, but it meant he could stay close, said nothing else mattered if I wasn't part of it. He found a tiny apartment that smelled like burnt toast and carpet glue. He picked up gigs at coffee shops, cheered the loudest at my mock trial competitions, and showed up with pizza on nights I wanted to quit. He never made me feel like I owed him, never once made me feel like he settled. 5 years later, we sat by that same lake, this time with matching rings on our fingers and a dog curled up in the back seat. Tony strummed his guitar, making up songs about our life together.